All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Well, I got a burr in my saddle.
We talk, you listen.
Somebody that's going to take an innocent life is not mentally insane?
You know them.
Time to nut up or shut up.
You love to hate them.
It's the Denton and Sasquatch Show.
You're a good team.
Can I bring my AR-15 next time?
Sure.
Yes.
This place is half talk show, half weird daycare. I love it.
You can't handle the truth.
Hello and welcome once again to the Denton and Sasquatch Show, coming to you both from California and Alabama. My name is Sasquatch here in California, and my friend Denton, he is in Alabama.
Yes, I am. I'm in Alabama. How are you doing, Sasquatch?
I'm hanging in there. Hanging loose, as they used to say in the 70s.
Okay. Well, now you just, before we got on air, you accused me of being a hippie because I eat hummus and I listen to the Grateful Dead.
Hey, I was a baby in the 70s, so...
Now you're talking about hanging loose.
Well, I suppose I was hanging loose when I was a baby. In more ways than one, I'm sure.
Just hanging in there best you could.
Yep. How are things in Alabama?
Well, it's been rainy, so it hasn't been quite as hot, but the humidity is hitting Vietnam status.
Wow.
Yeah, horrible.
Nice.
My pole bean's gone crazy.
Oh, well, that's good.
First time I ever grew pole beans, I didn't know I need 15-foot poles for pole beans.
Oh, do you think they're called steak beans?
No, well, no, but no, they need to explain what a pole bean needs. I mean, I got these, I guess, about 8-foot stakes or poles, little things. But anyway, yeah, they've gone up those and they've reached up in the air. And now they're growing. They met, the plants have met in the air and are growing on themselves and working their ways back down.
Sounds like Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I was thinking feed me Seymour, but
you know what might work is some Slippy brand pikes.
Yeah, I think that would be very good.
I hear they are 10 to 12 feet long, so that might work for you.
Yeah, Slippy does not half-ass on anything. His pikes will be the largest and the best,
Exactly.
No doubt.
All right, well, glad your beans are doing well. Glad everything's going well in Alabama.
Well, thank you very much. Hey, what's going on in California? Anything fun?
Well, no. I've talked about it before. I'm in the process of moving, so it's my life is very chaotic right now.
Well, it will be until you get moved.
Yeah, but I am dedicated to this show, so that's why I'm here Sunday night, even though I got tons of things going on, juggling everything at once.
You ain't scared.
Exactly. Scared.
Well, I'm glad you're here, man. I really am.
Hey, I did want to...
But personally, I would throw everything away. Start over.
Well, I've been doing that too. First, I wanted to start off with the energy crisis. Talk a little bit about that.
What energy crisis?
Well, apparently we've had an energy crisis going on for almost 50 years now. And the reason I say this is I don't have cable. I have Netflix, I have Amazon Prime, but I don't have cable. But what I do have is one of those nifty little antennas that pick up the local channels.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't watch Netflix and stuff when I'm, on my computer doing things or whatever. So I'll just have the regular local channels on. And there's one station here that plays all the old TV shows. I mean, McHale's Navy, Three's Company, Welcome Back Kotter, Partridge Family, all that old junk. It just constantly plays.
Mm-hmm.
So last
good
night...
stuff.
Yeah, some of it is good, funny stuff. So last night, the Partridge Family is on, and I'm only half watching it, but I kind of stopped when it got to a point. They were doing a show on well, it wasn't on climate change, but it was on the energy crisis and how the world is, we need to save energy and save the world and save the planet. And I was like, well, wait a second. So this has been going on for 50 years because that show came out in 1970 and they were talking about being the model family and cutting down your energy use by 10%. And they were playing some high school as the Partridge Family, and they had posters all over in the gym where they were playing about going green and saving the earth and all this stuff. And I was like, it's exactly like it is today.
Yeah.
It just made me laugh that this has been going on for 50 years and they still haven't been able to solve, air quotes, the problem.
Well, back then, we weren't worried about global warming. It was global cooling because of evil men doing evil things like driving cars and keeping our houses warm. We were creating a layer of gas that was going to reflect the sun's rays away. And we were going to all freeze to death. It was going to be horrible.
Yeah, and what does the Partridge Family drive? A big-ass bus for 6 people.
Yes.
So, I don't know. It just all seems very hypocritical to me.
With all that paint on it to make it even heavier.
Yes.
You know, the graffiti paint.
Yes.
So they burn more diesel.
So I just thought it was funny because, you know, the Partridge Family's going on and on about saving the planet, just like they're still doing today, and nothing's changed.
But nothing at all, except for now we're going to burn up. But then they don't even know that. They just know there's going to be some change, and it's our fault. So no matter what happens, stop breathing.
Well, and during the show, they were talking about, oh, well, if we don't get this under control in 20 years, everybody will be dead, and, you know, making it all serious. And I'm thinking, okay, well, 20 years, it's been damn near 50, and we're all still here.
Oh, yeah. Jacques Cousteau, who I used to, when I was a kid, I loved to watch his shows. He had predicted that the peninsula of Florida was going to be a desert because of human activity in the peninsula, using fresh water for drinking and whatnot. It was going to happen by 2008 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, not a desert. Matter of fact, the swamps are still there. It's still green down there. Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jacques. You were wrong.
My cousin the skunk ape still running around down there.
Yep, skunk apes are down there. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's all I had to say about that. I just found it very funny.
Which is really kind of funny that the skunk ape gets blamed on me driving down the road with my windows down after coming from a Mexican joint.
Oh, I could just see Mrs. Denton saying, is that you or a skunk ape?
She's saying nothing. Her head's out the window. Anyhow. Well, I'll tell you, insanity is not just right there in California. You have insanity in Connecticut. Have you ever heard of a fellow named Chris Murphy, a Democrat, go figure, in Connecticut?
Oh, I believe I've heard the name, yes.
Yeah. Well, he tweeted Saturday that there is a real Second Amendment, and then there's an imaginary one. And he believes that the real one is not absolute.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think he's figured out there's a real joint and an imaginary joint.
Does he ride to work on a unicorn as well?
After he uses an imaginary joint to unroll it and take some acid out and drop it, yes. Yeah, this guy's crazy. Anyway, the statement was a precursor to his call for banning assault rifles, air quotes here, in the wake of the Santa Fe high school shooting, even though assault rifles were not used. By golly.
Yeah, I was going to say it was a shotgun, wasn't it? Now, this kid used a shotgun. We need to ban assault rifles.
And a 38. Now, if you put a shotgun and a 38 revolver together, it's the same thing as an assault rifle. So we've got to ban assault rifles. Oh, man. Yeah. Remember when Ronald Reagan was shot in the noggin? Or no, he wasn't shot. That was James Brady. Sorry. Reagan's favorite vegetable. Reagan was shot, and, of course, James Brady was shot with a .22 pistol.
Yes.
So just a handful of years later, what do? They ban newly manufactured automatic rifles and pistols from being sold to civilians. So you can't get an M16, you can't get a MAC-10 or MAC-11 or Uzi or anything else because those two were shot with a .22 pistol. Made absolute sense to nobody.
Well, and that just furthers, our speculation that it's not about safety. It's not about any of those things. It's about banning guns.
Yeah, they are so afraid that we are going to catch on to the shenanigans and stop them. That's all. So anyway, Murphy said the real Second Amendment allows Congress to wake up to the reality and ban these assault rifles that are designed for one purpose, to kill as many people as fast as possible. No, Chris, you dope-smoking fiend. The real Second Amendment protects us from the government doing that. See, the government didn't give us this right. If the government gave us a right, it's not really a right, it's a privilege.
Uh-huh.
Okay. God endowed us with the right to keep and bear arms, as well as talk about it, as well as keep it in our house, and they can't come in the house without search warrant and yada, you know the deal. Okay. And that was codified in the Bill of Rights. And this is supposed to be protected by the government, not attacked by the government. Well, Chris, you're an idiot.
I would I would like him to dive into the Constitution and show me exactly where the Constitution gives the government the right to do what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's in there.
I'm pretty sure it's not. But that doesn't slow people like this down. The only thing they want to do is make up stuff. For example, this real versus imaginary, and claim his way of thinking is real and then go after our guns. No, Chris, sorry. Well, how do you say it? Mullen lobby? Anyway, you know what I'm saying. Come and take it, buddy.
Oh, Mullen.
And by the way,
Mullen lube lob.
Bob.
Come and take them, yeah.
And I got of Davida, baby. Anyway, you can go to Breitbart.news or .com, type in Democrat Senator Chris Murphy. The real Second Amendment isn't absolute. And you can see a picture of this guy that will scare Rosie O'Donnell even.
All right. Well, that sort of leads into something I wanted to talk about, or it's kind of, it fits right in there. We did have this shooting in Santa Fe, Texas, where the kid used a shotgun and a .38, not an AR. And we talked about this a lot on the show last week, because we dedicated it mostly to this subject. But what these guys don't talk about is, well, here, I'll read this right here. 3 heartbroken Southern California families have either already filed or plan to file lawsuits against the school district for failing to stop the relentless bullying that led to Rosalie Avila, 13, to hang herself and 2 other 13-year-olds to attempt grisly suicidal acts. The negligence from various schools across Los Angeles and the Inland Empire has attributed to suicide attempts of young girls who suffered at the hands of their cruel bullies for months. Now, this kid in Santa Fe, Texas, was bullied as well, and the pattern seems to be these kids that do things are bullied. So I'm thinking we don't have a gun problem. We have a problem with school officials and parents dealing with bullying. It's not bullying because bullying has been going on since the beginning of time. It's how they deal with it.
So what you're saying is how these kids are being trained as little bitty humans.
Yeah, I mean,
little mini humans.
If a boy gets bullied and he has, what it usually takes is he feels he has no one he can talk to. He has no way out. So the only thing he goes to is violence. So he gets himself a gun. If he doesn't have a gun, he gets a bat. If he doesn't have a bat, he gets a knife or a car or whatever. Anything to equal the odds, so to speak. And then he lashes out. Now, little girls, they seem to just try to kill themselves when they feel they're at their wits' end with bullying. And, like I said, bullying's been going on forever. We all dealt with it. We were bullied. We didn't do these things, but kids today are. So they're not being dealt with in the right way. And kids today are so coddled and taken care of. They're not taught to be tough and to fight through things like this. So they just, turn to either suicide or killing people.
Well, that, if you do this, for example, I learned when my son and his mother, who used to be my wife, broken family, they were living in Texas, and my son came home, came to me for the summertime, and he indicated he had been bullied, so I taught the little cretin how to fight. Mm-hmm. Made sense to me, So the next time the kid picks on you, this is what you do. He gets back home at the end of summer, and then the real cretin, his mother, if I ever mentioned her name, Satan's daughter, she calls me up and says, wants to know what I did. What am I doing teaching Clinton how to fight? I'm thinking, that's the most moronic question I've ever heard in my life. Teaching my son to defend himself. Well, you can't do that. He'll go to jail. He'll get a record. Say, what? First time I ever heard of this crap. And then she says, well, she's already contacted the sheriff's office. Again, say, what? These are kids, and you're calling the sheriffs. Well, that's how you do things nowadays. Well, this nation isn't long for being if this is how we're handling kids being kids. Something's wrong. So, but you don't teach a kid that nothing bad's going to happen. If anything happens, just climb into your shell, and somebody will call the cop. What? No, And get off the TV set, kids. As Slippy would say, turn off the TV set and do push-ups.
Exactly. Well, see, now, I don't have kids, so maybe I'm just speaking out my butt here, but what I see...
I'll correct you.
All right, what I see today is a lot of parents don't want to be parents. I mean, if you go to a restaurant and they have a 3-year-old with them, they stick a cell phone in the kid's hand and say, all right, here, and don't bother me. That's not being a parent. That's letting a cell phone or TV or whatever raise your child. And these kids that are getting bullied, these school administrators and parents don't want to be parents or school administrators. They don't want to do their job, basically. So they put the kids on drugs. That's one of the big problems we have going on is kids being on drugs. Now, this is from The Guardian right here. Hundreds of millions of dollars flow to lobbyists and politicians on Capitol Hill each year to shape laws and policies that keep drug companies' profits growing. The pharmaceutical industry, which has about 2 lobbyists for every member of Congress, spent $152 million on influencing legislation in 2016. So these people want to scream at the NRA because they protect our rights, but they don't want to say anything about the drug companies that are cramming these drugs into our kids' heads. That doesn't make sense to me.
So we have kids that are not trained, they're not disciplined. That's one of the things that you're talking about, shoving a phone or some kind of device in their hands while they're at a restaurant. And it's not just a restaurant, it's anywhere. Anywhere the parent does not want to be a parent, those electronic devices are given to these kids. They're not trained in discipline. Now, when I was a kid, we had sticks, and rocks. And those are toys, and we're just damn glad to have those sticks and rocks.
Exactly.
We walked uphill both ways in 6 foot of snow in South Alabama to get to school, but never mind all that. There was discipline. No, there was nothing to entertain us when we went to the restaurant. So we were expected to be disciplined and kept our mouths shut, not make a spectacle or anything, cause any kind of problems for other people in the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, that doesn't happen. Kids are feeling free to scream the full heads off in a restaurant. They're playing in the device. They're not being disciplined. And I don't think it's just at a restaurant. I think it's everywhere. It's in the house. It's, you name it. So, yeah, they have no discipline. They're not being told how to handle their emotions. Parents don't have time for that. They're not being disciplined. Parents don't have time for that. So when something happens at school, well, they know where the parent's shotgun is.
Yep. Let's drug the kids up and not lock up our guns.
That's right. And so they act on the most basest of instinct, which is, I have a problem. I will kill it now. And they grunt like a caveman and go do it.
Mm-hmm. And then,
except for nowadays, they can put it on Facebook. Look at what I did.
And then everybody wants to scream at the NRA.
Because the NRA is, the NRA is, well, what are they doing?
Oh, they're protecting our rights.
No, I mean something negative. So they're stopping parents from disciplining their children. The NRA is pushing drugs on the kids.
Yeah.
It's absolutely asinine.
The NRA is a convenient boogeyman.
Yep. Yeah, it's still stupid.
All right. Well, I don't want to get too into this because we talked about it last week. But, yeah, Denton and I have both solved the problem. If anybody would listen, stop putting your kids on drugs, spank their asses when they need them, and that's about it.
Well, and Bernie Sanders even says, you do a better Bernie Sanders imitation than I do.
Who, Bernie? Hey, I'm Bernie. Yeah.
Well, say it's a 3-letter word. It's the NRA, and it's Trump's and the Republicans who don't have the guts to stand up to these people, and that's pretty pathetic.
It's a 3-letter word, and it's the NRA, and Trump and the Republicans don't stand up to the NRA. I think I just pooped myself.
Yes.
He always looks like that. His face is always red, like he just let one go in his shorts.
He's really straining, doggone it. I hope he has Depends. He needs them. Yeah. And he says, but it's like every other issue. The American people are united overwhelmingly, he said, referring to common sense gun control reform policies. We are? I didn't know we were all behind this common sense. There's nothing common sense about it. Look, we've already told you people, beat the hell out of your kids, take away their devices, make them act right, teach them who God is, and that, yes, you go around killing people, God's going to cut you down. So stop it. Simple as that. Okay, but there's also this other idiot, by the way. It's just you could make 5-hour episodes just dealing with idiots writing stuff.
Throw a rock and you'll hit an idiot.
Yeah, that's right. And this is covered by PJ Media. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but it's some cat name, and you know what? I clicked off, but I can click it back on here just to get his name, and it's on Esquire.com. And I'm sure every time I click on there, they're getting hits, and they're going to think, oh, look how many people's No, this guy's name is Dave Holmes. And I remember when I sent him an email explaining a few things to him that he's in California somewhere, I think Los Angeles area. He said that, here's what he said. Hey, NRA, listen, I know the moments after a gunman opens fire in a school are hectic for you. You have got to get your talking points together. Well, not really. It's not talking points. It's explained to idiots like you. Anyway, you have to mentally prepare to debate a traumatized yet sensible child. Really?
How's that work?
When does an NRA debate a traumatized child? And the child is sensible because it's saying liberal things, so I can see where Dave dumbass is getting this from. And then he says, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and practice saying that more guns would have made the situation less deadly. Yeah, it would have, Dave. More guns in the right hand. Then he says, it's busy time. And since we are always either in the moments after or the moments before a mass shooting, really? We are? Gee, that means right now there's a mass shooting and right now it's over. Oh, there's a mass shooting and right now, Dave, you're an idiot. Dave's not home. You're pretty much always busy, I noticed. Huh?
Dave's not here, man.
Dave's not here, man. Well, I wish he wasn't. I wish he was away from his computer and could write garbage like this. He also said, anyway, I just wanted to drop you a line and let you know that now I actually do want to take away your guns. All of your guns. Right now.
Really?
Well, Dave, I should have left you my home address, but I forgot.
Well, I mean, he's in L.A. I'm not too far from him, so if he wants to barge in here and try to take mine, he's more than welcome.
Yeah. Well, he also insinuated that in his screed here that he should be ashamed of writing. He said that the AR-15 has a rate of fire of 400 rounds per minute.
He must be getting his talking points from Dianne Feinstein. Didn't she make some absurd thing like that before?
400 rounds per minute. And that's got to be one of those 500 clip magazine things that they like to talk about. They don't even know what it is.
Hey, Dave, let me school you real quick. Just like any other gun, whether it's 22 or 9mm or any variation of that, one squeeze of the trigger, one bullet.
So if you're pulling off, or if you're just snatching on the magazine, listen, I've confused myself. You're snatching on the trigger, trying your best to make 400 rounds a minute. Dropping the magazines, throwing another one in there, snatch on the trigger, dropping the magazine. Okay, let's say it's 30-round magazines. Let's say it's a round going out every second, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, there's 60 seconds in a minute.
Yes.
Okay. Let's bump it up. Let's say there's 2 bullets going out every second. So that'd be 120. And now we're not even talking about dropping the magazine and putting in a fresh magazine. And we're also not even talking about being accurate as you're snatching on that trigger. Dave, you're an idiot.
Well, you see, the thing here, though, is good old Dave knows that what he's saying is nonsense, but he also knows that just throwing it out there, other idiots will go, oh, really? Well, I'm going to have to repeat that.
And there's going to be little cloned Dave idiots out there.
I mean, we talked about this a few shows ago when I was discussing it with a lady at work and how she said we need to get rid of AR-15s because they fire faster than other guns. Well, no, they don't.
Well, I'm just saying that Dave's an idiot, and that's all I got to say about that. Or he's part of the agenda. That's another thing. That's something I want to point out. Either you don't understand what you're talking about, or you do, and you're just doing the bidding of your, hopefully, future tyrant.
Yeah.
But if you understand history, number one, you don't want the people to be disarmed because tyranny will come up. And by the way, when tyranny comes out, they always get rid of those who helped them get there.
Yes, they do.
So, Dave, you better be careful. You're on our side. You're just too stupid to realize you should be.
Yeah, they're either agenda puppets or they're useful idiots. One of the two.
Yeah, either way, they got to go.
Hey, speaking of useful idiots,
oh boy,
do you remember Christina Garcia that I talked about a while back?
Yeah, sexual abusive or something other. She's a politician of y'all's.
Yeah, she's a legislator here in California, and she was part of the Me Too movement. She was on the cover of Time magazine with a bunch of other women who were pushing the Me Too movement and blah, blah, blah. Well, she was accused of sexual harassment, not by one person, but by like 4 or 5. They accused her of trying to kiss them, groping them, trying to grope their genitals, talking dirty in the office, talking about sex, getting them drunk. So anyway, she was investigated. But the funny thing is, she was investigated by her own peers. So you can imagine how this turned out. An advocate for Me Too movement is the last person you'd hear being accused of sexual misconduct, but in February it happened. California Assemblywoman Cristina Garcia has voiced her support for the Me Too movement and has called for an end to workplace harassment. However, the irony is that the Democrat politician was accused of groping Daniel Fierro in a 2014 legislative softball game. Fierro accused Garcia of drunkenly grabbing his buttocks and trying to grab his crotch. Fierro, who was 25 at the time, did not report the incident right away because he was worried about the long-term consequences that would come with accusing a powerful lawmaker. Anyway, the allegations against Garcia have since been cleared, and she plans to return to work Monday morning. So much for that whole Me Too movement thing.
Well, while you were talking, I had to look up, see what Cristina Garcia looks like.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it.
Too late. My eyeballs are damaged.
Yeah, she's not very attractive.
She ain't a looker, we'll just say that. It's just thoroughly disgusting.
Yeah, and really, I mean, law enforcement should be investigating this, not other people in the Sacramento Capitol. I mean, of course they're going to protect her.
Yeah, it's not like they're accusing her of colluding with the Russians or anything.
Yes, exactly.
So, what's going on with, is there something going on with that?
Oh, well, yeah, there's a spy.
Dun, 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 dun. A spy. Dun, 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 dun. Where's a spy?
Well, I'm doing...
He ain't a very good spy if they know about him.
I'm doing this mostly from memory, but some leaks from the IG report came out that said that the Trump administration put a spy in the Trump campaign, which, of course...
Obama administration, you mean?
Yes, the Obama administration. And, of course, all the propaganda media is backpedaling and trying to cover up and, doing whatever they can to quiet this. But it's the truth, and really, to me, this is like Watergate level stuff. And everybody on the left is trying to dismiss it as, oh, no, it's no. I mean, some of the outlets were even saying, well, Obama put that spy in there to protect Trump. I mean, is that the most outlandish thing you've ever heard? Okay, so if he did, why didn't they do the same for Hillary?
Speaking of Hillary, everybody they're trying to connect to Trump about the Russia this and collusion that is connected to Hillary in spades. Did you read about that? But they're totally ignoring everything that's Hillary, all the egregious crimes and acts that she's committed, to include putting her face on the TV set. They're ignoring that, okay? And they're thoroughly focused on something that they haven't. Look, if Mueller or anybody had anything that would be called evidence, it would be leaked out, wouldn't it?
Well, you'd think so.
Anything it would take to slow down Trump and whatever he's doing, it would be done. But so far, nothing's coming about of anything. But they keep on trying to shake the trees, and they're bankrupting people. Now, just because they can.
Every time they shake the trees, it seems like a liberal's falling out.
Yeah.
And then they sweep it under the carpet. Oh, no, we didn't mean to shake that out.
Yeah. Well, we'll set it back up later. Just don't pay attention. Well, yeah. And Hillary says, I was reading, she's admitted that she's still not over losing.
Yeah, well, keep hitting the bottle, Hillary. You'll get over it. No, I find this funny because I got the same basic story here from two different outlets. This is from the Gateway Pundit. Let me read this. President Donald Trump tweeted Sunday afternoon he is ordering the Justice Department to investigate whether Obama administration spied on his 2016 presidential campaign. All right, let me click over here to Reuters. U.S. President Donald Trump demanded on Twitter that Sunday the Justice Department look into whether 2016 presidential candidate was infiltrated and surveilled by the FBI under the Obama administration. Trump's simmering anger over special counsel Robert Mueller, blah, 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 blah. It's just so funny the way, two different outlets write the exact same thing.
Nuance of words drives emotion and ways of thinking, and they all know that, and they all do that. I'm sure as you read news every day, you're like me, you can't help it. You've got to see what's going on. You pick up on that all the time, and it kind of angers you, doesn't it?
Well, yeah.
Somebody who's writing is trying to influence your thought and your emotion.
Well, a lot of the headlines I see for almost any story, whether it's Trump or anything, it's someone is always outraged. They're outraged. It's like, really? Are they really that outraged?
Yeah. They're outraged at everything. I don't even get outraged anymore. I mean, I'd go to Hardee's, Carl's Jr. to y'all, I pretty much just say, I'll give them what I want, but I know when I get to the window, they're going to give me what they want me to have. It's kind of like politics, and I'm happy. Here's give me my change. Give me the surprise in the bag. It's going to be food.
Well, something like food.
Yeah. Well, I must be on the road if I'm eating at Hardee's. Elsewise, I wouldn't be eating at a fast food restaurant. Mm-hmm. And so it's just, but I don't get outraged when they mess up my order. Why am I going to get outraged over the color yellow or whatever? They're always outraged. Yeah. And do they really think that Trump's sitting around simmering and outraged over this? Trump doesn't do that. You know that. He's always trying to get one step ahead of the game.
Yep. Or eating his McDonald's.
Well, that was Clinton that was a McDonald's fan. Is Trump a McDonald'er too?
Yeah, he's a big McDonald's guy.
Oh, that's a McShame.
That is. Hey, but speaking of spying, there's some other spying going on in the world. I am being spied on.
By who?
Well,
whom?
That's the scary thing. I am being spied on by my phone.
Gouge its eyes out.
Now, I know you're going to want to send me a jacket that ties in the back, but hear me out here.
I'm listening. I also got my phone in my hand.
All right. Well, with all the craziness that's been going on in my life lately with the moving and just a lot of stuff, I have not been eating as well as I should. So I gained a few pounds. And I looked at myself in the mirror one day and I said, all right, this has got to stop. So since I can't hit the gym as often as I like to, I figured I would eat better. And a long time ago, I was reading about this paleo diet. Have you ever heard of paleo?
No.
No.
Yes, I eat paleo.
Oh, okay. So I decided to try it, and it worked very well, or has been.
Let me put you on pause just a second. Did you do the first 30 days like you're supposed to?
I didn't hear about a 30-day thing.
Well, the first 30 days, you totally scratch out your carbs and that kind of stuff. I mean, you only eat vegetables, not legumes. You go all into that, just vegetables and lean meats, cut out the dairy and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll drop, I think I dropped 30 pounds in a month.
Yeah, I've dropped, I haven't weighed myself lately, but I dropped 12 pounds in 2 weeks.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Meat, vegetables, that was about it.
And tree nuts.
Yeah, and nuts like that, but you can't have peanuts. But anyway, we're getting off topic here. I didn't want to talk about my eating habits.
Well, you started that way.
But anyway,
you mentioned paleo.
Well, I had looked into paleo a long time ago, so I researched it, and I thought, okay, that sounds like a pretty decent thing to do. But this was months ago, and I just never even tried it because I was too busy doing other things. So anyway, a few people at work and around have noticed that I've lost weight. They can tell. You can look and see, and they're like, "Oh, well, why'd you lose weight?" And I told them I was getting heavy. I felt bloated all the time. I felt, fat and stuff. So I thought, I need to do something to, and I used that word bloated because that's the way I felt. Well, all of a sudden, I am getting these little things on my phone, not messages, advertisements saying, "Do you feel fat and bloated? Take our pills. Wow. Take our pills, and you won't be anymore."
So before I send you a tinfoil hat,
I was going to say, get your tinfoil hats out.
You're saying that the microphone on your phone is being used to pick up what you say, and then they can flip around, figure out what their advertisements should be from doing that.
Well, something's going on because I have not been looking on my phone for fat and bloated pills. And this isn't the first time either. There was time before, and I let it slide last time because I thought, nah. But I was talking with my brother about fish tanks. All of a sudden, on my phone, I start getting advertisements for fish tanks. So I believe, and yes, I have my tinfoil hat on right now, that my phone is spying on me.
We need to do some research and see if anybody else has noticed this. And is there some way to stop it from happening? Is there some little switch you can flip on the settings on your phone or something?
I don't know, but if anybody else has had this happen, feel free to write us at dentonandsasshow@gmail.com. Let us know your story. I'd love to hear it.
That'd be great. And we'll even let you write an article for the dentonandsasquatch.com, our website that I don't think either one of us has written on in a week.
We've been a little busy.
Yes, we have. Sorry about that. Anybody actually goes and reads. Oh, by the way, if you want to talk about this, that, and a lot of other things involving food, foraging, knife making, shooting, go to prepperforums.net. So feel free to tell us exactly how you think we are. Boring, long-winded, yeah, possibly.
I vote for long-winded.
Yeah. Well, it's about time we signed out then, huh?
I think so.
How many minutes have we been on? What, 5, 10?
36.
36. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure from the news I've seen, we're doomed. So what do you think we ought to do?
I think we should drink up.
Drink up, folks, but remember tomorrow's Monday. Have a good night.
I lit out from Reno, I was trailed by 20 hounds. Didn't get to sleep that night till the morning came around. Set out to run, but I take my time. A friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight.